Choose your character.
Welcome back to another episode of Podcast by Default. Today we kind of have like a smaller group of speakers because everybody was kind of busy. So right now it's just me, Ange,
Kim,
and
yeah,
Chris.
you guys introduce yourselves actually.
it's your girl, Kim. Hello.
And it's me, Chris. I can introduce myself. I'm a big person. I'm a big boy.
One day we should do the introductions from the Bring It On movie.
What do you mean?
Angie, do you know which one I'm talking about?
No.
The one with Solange.
Let's watch it.
It's either we do the white girl version, we do the Solange and her friends version, where they're basically cheering. Oh yeah, Shabuya roll call. My name is Kim. Dude, oh my god, why'd I say my name? But anyway, just jokes. Anyway,
It's okay. Just show us afterwards, and then we'll see if we can do it next time.
I would love to see Chris do that. I would love to hear Chris do that.
You want to hear me cheer?
Yes.
So today's topic is kind of strength, and just generally what we think about it, how it affects us in our everyday lives, role models, like different stories we have. And I think that it'd be good if we started off by kind of talking about what is strength, like a textbook definition of it. Off the top of your head, what do you think strength is?
Well, for me, I think strength really comes down to what type of strength you're really talking about, because there are different types of strength. Like there's emotional strength, intellectual strength, like actual physical strength, and for each different type of strength, there's different type of values and virtues that go into them. Let's just get the physical strength out of the way. Physical strength just measures how strong you are, how you can jump, how far you can jump, how much you can lift, yada yada yada. Everyone knows that basic definition of strength. But emotional strength, the way I see it is, it's more how in tune you are with your emotions, and it's not like how well you can block your emotions out, or how well you can keep them in control, or how well you can feel them. It's more of, you feel your emotions and you can react well to your emotions.
Yeah.
I think what we're going to be discussing more of today is emotional strength in particular.
Mm-hmm.
Like, physical strength is like a whole different topic. I think it's more like an exercise topic, like a health thing,
We already did the sports podcast, so
yeah,
we already kind of did go into that one.
And we kind of concluded that we're all kind of weak in that, minus Chris.
Oh, by the way, again, we're in quarantine and we're social distancing, so there will be glitches and just a few little things, so please bear with it.
Yeah, that's why these past 10 podcasts have been techno.
Hopefully, when there are some restrictions that are lifted, we could probably do a couple episodes in my backyard or something. We'll figure things out. But
we'll go to the woods for you guys.
Yeah.
Yo, it's hot outside. I don't want to be outside.
Don't worry, we'll do it near sundown. It'll be cool.
You know what? Once quarantine ends, we're gonna test our physical strength by going for a hike.
Oh, I love going on hikes.
I love hikes.
Yes. Burn them calories and we get a podcast in.
I call them adventures.
I call them adventures too, oh my god.
They're adventures because you really don't know what you're going to find.
Exactly.
The last time I went on a hike, I found a really good pair of wires.
What?
Yeah.
Wires?
Yeah, someone just dropped them in the middle of the road, and I just picked them up hey, one man's garbage, another man's treasure.
No, we're not. I guess that's a form of strength too. Being able to go on hikes. I'm just kidding. I don't know what I'm saying. To me, I think strength is, like emotional strength is like the ability to, I guess, acknowledge that you're allowed to have emotions, but not let those emotions, say, destroy you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I
go over the
know
top.
exactly what you mean because last year I read the book Everything is Fucked by Mark Manson, and in there he actually does describe the whole emotional side and logical side of each person. He describes it perfectly. So I might butcher this because it's been a while since I read the book, but um, basically each person has two sides of the brain, and it's not your basic left side, right side. One's crazy and the other one's smart and whatever. The way he describes it is one is the emotional side of the brain and the other one is the logical side of the brain. So the emotional side of the brain is basically the driver because humans are emotional driven creatures, right? Everything we do and everything that happens to us gets an emotional reaction out of us. And in the passenger seat, there's the logical side of the brain, which is basically the one who's trying to navigate the driver to going to the right places and following all the rules. And there's a few problems that can happen when you ignore one side of the brain, and it can be both ignoring the emotional side of the brain and the logical side of the brain. So what happens when the emotional side of the brain completely ignores the logical side of the brain? People go ballistic.
Mm-hmm.
And we see it more and more nowadays because now people are having a much more comfortable life than, let's say, 200 years ago, where people were just mainly focusing on survival, right? And what happens when you ignore the logical side of the brain is, again, you go ballistic and you don't listen to reason, and the driver, the car just spins out of your lane, and it crashes into other people's cars and basically just crashes and burns.
You know what this kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of like Freud's idea of the id, the ego, and the superego. It's
I've heard about it.
vaguely familiar. So, just the general gist is that the superego, well, it's not exactly the same, but it's like similar. Superego is like the part of your brain that listens to all the rules. Your id is like everything that you want, like your instincts, like you want like food, you want sex, you want like all sorts of things. And then your ego is what kind of like tries to mediate between the two. Like, this analogy is kind of like if the superego was your logical side and your id was like your emotional side, which it kind of is, you know?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. But not exactly. I think yours is more concise as to our purposes for today.
Kim, what do you think of strength?
See, I don't know. I think because sometimes when you think of things like strength and stuff, you kind of think of, I guess, things that you've been through or things that, you know, kind of like how you've seen strength yourself. And I don't know. I think I've always had mixed feelings when it comes to strength, like what I would define it as. 'Cause I think everyone's so different. I don't know. I think strength is something that's like, I'm so sorry. There was a distraction there trying to tell me that it's something else, but the distraction is I'm not listening to the distraction. No, I think to me, emotional strength almost is like, yeah, I don't know exactly how I describe it. I think in my mind, like, at least through my own experiences or whatever, I think I've just noticed some people, like, how they handle it. And I don't know, I think strength is something that's really versatile, something very, I don't know, definitive, like, whoever's, I guess, it depends on the person, you know, how they show it. I guess it would be, like, how would I define it? I'm just rambling right now, so I would just say ignore me. But, I think it's just because something I haven't really fully discovered yet. So it's like for me to be able to define it or what I would think of it as, I'm not able to like figure it out. But I think it's almost like I'm gonna get back to you on that one first.
That's okay.
Maybe
Yeah.
what would help in defining strength would be like some virtues and values that are part of a strong personality. So what do we think are some values and virtues and ideas that are strong or make a person strong?
I feel like ignoring issues is not a strong trait. It's like something that a lot of people kind of do just to avoid facing it. And I think that being able to face something that is difficult for you is where the strength really lies, you know? Like a lot of people would ignore their emotions, for example, but like sometimes you just need to face them, talk about them, feel them as well, and then you'll be able to move past it. And I think that moving past it is also kind of important in emotional strength.
I entirely agree because everyone's gone through emotional parts in their life. Some, again, some more tragic than others, but we've all gone through it. We've all gone through the entire process of something happening in our lives and trying to pick up the pieces and continuing with our lives. And I think the process of just picking up the pieces is in itself something that makes someone strong, because I don't remember exactly what happened, but I do remember saying a strong person is someone who gets up and continues moving forward, because once you stop moving forward, the world's just going to leave you behind.
Yeah, it's true. I feel like one of the hardest things to do, like you said, picking up the pieces, is to like just keep going, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And like it's so easy to give up. And I feel like to be strong, you can't give up on yourself. You know, like it's okay. I feel like depending on the situation, yeah, I get it if you have to give up on someone else, especially if they're being like toxic.
Mm-hmm.
But never ever giving up on yourself, I think, is a really strong trait. Also, knowing what to cut out of your life is pretty strong too, because it's hard to just like take that thing and isolate it and be like, is this good for me, you know?
Mm. And a strong person is not necessarily like the perfect person. Everyone does have like imperfect qualities about them, and as long as I think Kim said this in the previous podcast, as long as you don't let that negative trait take a hold of you and just
Yeah, pretty much. Everyone has toxic traits. Everyone has things that make them, not perfect. And everyone has toxic traits, and everybody has things that obviously make them not perfect. But it's how you let that stuff define you. Like some people might be, I don't know, what would you guys call a toxic trait? Just as an example.
let's say Angela's procrastination by trying to ignore the issues in your life.
Oof.
In her life or somebody else's life?
In just a person's life.
Well, yeah, like you could say that's a toxic trait, tends to like procrastinate and stuff like that. But how do you let that like every single thing? If like, okay, let's just say Chris, I don't know, you fell downstairs and you need her help, and she procrastinates. She's like, yeah, I'll leave it 5 minutes, 10 minutes. A bad example, but that type of procrastination. If you let that become a part of you and you let that, you're gonna be hella toxic. People will not want to be around you. So it's like when you let these types of take over who you are, then that's when it becomes extremely tough. But like say that no one has. I'm not saying toxic trait. I'm not trying to like romanticize toxic trait. That's by far what I'm trying to do. So I'm trying to make it known, because so many people believe that like, oh, in this world everyone has, you can't do this, you can't do that. But no one in this world is perfect. The people who think that they're perfect are by far from perfect.
I think being aware of your own shortcomings is also pretty strong. Like Kim said, knowing that you're not perfect is pretty big. Like, I mean, okay, I don't know how to put this into words, but like, have you ever met someone that is so unaware of like how like someone who's like straight up narcissistic, you know?
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's like they
100%.
don't
I'll
know.
touch on this later on, like in the second half.
Yeah,
But like, yes.
yeah, it's like they don't see the flaws in themselves and they think that they're so perfect. They think that they're strong, but I think the most humble people are the people that are strong. Like,
Mm.
it's okay to know that you're strong, but like, you, like real strong people don't need to brag about it, you know? Like, they don't need the attention. They're just
Cannot
deal with it.
stand people who are here or like, I'm the strongest. You don't know. Oh my God, I'm so strong. Like, I am literally so humble. I need just to help humble people need to be strong. That's just annoying.
Or like people who are like, oh, I've been depressed for so long, but now I'm okay and I'm fine. And like, I don't know why you're not like, you're not like, you're not better than someone because you've been past a difficult time in your life, you know? I've definitely had my experiences with people like that. Those are the people who, rewind back to my previous point, you need to know you have to cut off. But
Let's
yeah.
call those people the faux strong.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's really what they are. They think they're strong, but they're actually, but uh, saying that they're that strong and that they're better than you because they're that strong, that just makes
Mm-hmm.
them a weaker person.
And I mean, like, disclaimer, I don't necessarily think that I'm the strongest of people. I have a lot to work on, especially like when it comes to handling the emotions. But it does help having like an idea of what I think strength is, because then you kind of have an ideal to work towards, you know?
Mm-hmm. And I can also agree with that myself because I do consider myself a strong person, especially considering my
Mm-hmm.
upbringings. I was raised by a single mother in Ecuador, which is a very machismo country,
Mm-hmm.
especially back in the day. So I did have to be, so I did have to become a strong individual ever since a young age, and then I also had to stand up for myself in school because I was an immigrant, and my teacher really didn't like me. I don't understand why, but yeah,
We've been
uh,
there.
she didn't explain anything to me. Like
Don't I feel that? Jeez. Talk to
schoolmates
my
had to explain to me that we had a project that was due the next day. My
oh my
teacher
god.
never took the initiative to make myself, to make. Did I just forget English? Oh wait, hold up a second.
Your immigrant is showing.
My immigrant is showing.
Yo, but like I had the same thing. Like when I was in JKSK first, like freshly landed onto Canadian soil, and like my JK teacher absolutely hated me. Like I don't understand why she was just mean, you know? Like there was like she had a short temper with me. She didn't try to help me understand things. Like she was straight up mean to me. I don't even know why. Like I was just a kid.
I'm gonna be honest with you though. From what I noticed, at least from the school that we went to, and some of the teachers were not good at helping in
That's
general.
yeah, that's true.
Like to this day,
I
I still
didn't
believe.
I didn't really experience much of the racism from the teachers. I wouldn't call it racism. Yeah, it's racism.
No, let's call the Karens out. They were racist. Some of them were.
But yeah, like I didn't really get that when I moved to that school, but like in JKSK it was really bad. Like I couldn't speak English, crying all the time because
It's
I was
frustrating.
alone, you know? It was just like exhausting. So yeah, I can definitely relate to that.
But yeah, going back to what I was saying, I do consider
Mm-hmm.
myself a strong person because of my past. But I also know that I have a lot of things to work on. And I do have, let's say, negative traits that I don't find that I need to change. For example, a lot of people would consider someone who's quickly irritated like a worse person than someone who isn't, but I find my easily irritation just
Kind of short temper.
yeah, my kind of short temper just a part of who I am, and I'm proud of it. But I do have issues. For example, whenever someone lets me down, my immediate reaction is to try and just burn that bridge to the ground, no matter who I burn along the way. But I stop myself.
You mean like cutting people off?
More than that,
It's like
just
cutting people off, never want to see you again, I hope you die, type of thing.
I came across this on a Tumblr post, and I'm a Scorpio, and what the Tumblr post said is don't mess with the Scorpio because you'll get the stinger. What I would do is burn the bridge, and I'll also give you the stinger.
Nice.
So, in conclusion, guys, don't mess with him.
Don't mess with me because you'll get the stinger, but you'll actually don't because I held myself back.
See, like, I feel like I have the complete opposite problem. Because no matter what, I want to fix the relationship. Like, I give a lot of chances to people, and I don't always know when to cut off that person. Keep going back to that one point. Strength is being able to know what to just
Control
snip,
yourself.
you know? Just gotta, like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Self-awareness?
It's not only self-awareness. I would say that it's like being don't look at everyone with rose-colored lenses. Let's say it like that, because like I try to see the good in people, not to make myself sound like, oh, I fucking hate it when people are like, oh, I try to see the good in people and I give too many and I have such a big heart. Like, I hate it. Just hate it. But generally speaking, I do try to forgive people for whatever. Because I'd rather, I'm so non-confrontational. And I'd rather, like, do that. And it just breaks my heart when, like, I can't salvage a relationship. But it's like, sometimes you just gotta let it go. Or, like, take it down a notch, you know? Like, you know, you just need to know when space is needed.
How are we friends? We're the complete opposite. You give people too many chances. I just give people one chance and just burn them down.
Yeah.
I'm right in between though. It's like I'll give the person chances, but I don't give them as much. I just tend to like get bored, and I'll be like, I'm tired of this shit. Stop bothering me. And like I kind of just like every time there's like some sort of confrontational thing, and the person's acting up, and I can see that there's like something in my mind feels like, I'm sorry guys, our plumbing is not working. It's just the toilet, like the toilet and the sink is making too many noises. Just if you guys hear like water sounds.
I thought we were already on an ad break, but I guess we're not.
Sorry, give me 1 second. The plumbing in this house is really like crap. I think there's a zombie in this damn house.
Those damn zombies.
I don't know what that is.
Remember from our Campfire Stories podcast, zombies were basically just paranormal beings.
Yes. Good to know. Take a listen to that if you haven't already.
It's such a fun podcast.
Yeah, correction. Zombies are like little demon-looking things or demon-acting things.
Yeah,
Ghosts.
I could sleep for like a week.
Nuisances.
Nuisances. So every time I call my sister a nuisance, she's a zombie.
Yeah, pretty much just call her.
No, I just made up the nuisances part, but there's definitely one acting really rude right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, like I was saying about what was I talking about? About yes, cutting people off. I always have the urge to cut off people who piss me off too much, because I'm like never. I'm not in the mood to deal with bullshit. My life is way too short to be dealing with people's bullshit, and I'm literally not in that right now. Sorry, I hate this damn toilet right now. Sorry. Yeah, no, I'm right in between. I'll give people chances, but I swear to God, if you piss me off too much, I will literally just not be in the mood to deal with it. I probably will try to cut people off, but I'll be like, no, I'm just gonna give them chances. But slowly, every single chance I give you, I'm like more and more distant. So suddenly I'm just gonna cut it off. But yeah, that's pretty much my take on that.
So basically, let's look at this in a glass kind of situation. With Angela, the glass is always full. With Kim, she just takes a sip of the water in the glass until it's empty. With me, I just chuck the glass at you.
Sounds about right, except I love drinking water, which is exactly what you should be doing during our break.
Which I guess is now.
Because I really gotta pee. Alright. See you in like a few seconds.
See you after the break. Do you know what makes a person strong? Drinking water. After all, you can't be strong if you're dead. Therefore, do yourself a favor and drink water. This podcast has been brought to you by water. So refreshing.
And welcome back to our strength podcast. You didn't see it, but I just did a sick dance move to assert my dominance. Anyway, so we're gonna continue talking about fun things such as strength in the individual person and stories on how we've grown and kind of like role models for ourselves or people that may not have exhibited such good strength, you know? So who wants to start?
I'll let you guys take the first shot at that.
I mean, I could.
Oh, begin. Sorry.
I mean, I could start with a recent example of me learning to be strong, I guess. Or me dealing with a person who wasn't as strong as they thought they were. You can you can hear me just starting to anger up.
I think you should start with the other person than yourself.
Okay, so
just to get the anger out of the system.
let's talk about
yourself feel.
Let's talk about my ex.
Oh,
Oh, we're getting
what
juicy
a
now.
hot mess. Okay, go for it.
Okay,
Spill it.
so well, I was in a relationship with her. She seemed like completely fine. There were no red flags. But after we broke up, I noticed the gaslighting. There was so much fucking gaslighting that... And like... I'm happy I did go into the relationship because it did help me become like a more emotionally mature person. I grew emotionally because it was my first romantic relationship, right? And the way she took it was... She took my emotional immaturity, and whenever I didn't do something she liked, she tried to gaslight me into seeing it her way, right? And a clear example of this is when we did break up. So the day of the breakup, let's see, how did it go? So I did try to break up, and again, I was going through a rough patch of my life, and I really wanted to just be alone and not have to worry about taking care of her in the relationship, right? Because when you are in a relationship, you have to take care of yourself and take care of your partner. So I couldn't really do that because I did want to pick up my own pieces and see where I stood, right?
Yeah, and it's very mature of you to do.
And I knew that I did grow emotionally a lot. You guys told me, other friends told me. And so in the breakup, I did explain my point of view and why I want to break up and why I want to be alone. And just be backed up by my friends who I've known for like 7 years now, right? And she said, "Are you sure you're not self-sabotaging?" Now, you guys don't know me, but my friends know me, and I would be the last person to self-sabotage, right?
Yeah, you're very self-aware.
So like, I realized that recently that was just the final gaslighting at that point. And at that moment, I didn't really understand it. And if I didn't grow so much emotionally throughout that relationship, then I would have just gone back into the relationship, which would have been bad for me. It would have become a much toxic relationship. So yeah, that's my example. One of my many examples.
I remember my first time, like, kind of meeting her, and like the entire time I was like trying very hard to like, like be nice. And, like we were playing games, like we were playing Jackbox, and she was just like kind of annoying. And she was like super like proud of herself, and it was like, I don't know. I remember, like, basically, generally speaking, I've only really talked to her once, and the one time that I talked to her, I was like, is this person a good person? But of course I didn't say anything because I didn't really interact with you guys like as a unit together, so I wouldn't know how you guys are like with each other. But now clearly we know.
No, clearly everyone knows, because it did take me like a while to many months to break down every aspect of that relationship and just pick out the parts where it was wrong.
It does take a lot out of you, though, to like identify that, especially in a romantic relationship. It's really tough to like just be able to say, hey, like, this is not working out for us anymore,
Especially when it's your first and you don't have much that much experience in romantic relationships.
I feel like when I'm older, I want my children to have romantic relationships. Like, a lot of people are like how my own parents, they're like,
no dating till you're 38. No dating till after you're married.
Yeah.
Nah, you have to grow as a person. You have to become a strong emotional person to be able to find the one.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like, sure, it may get in the way of your studies, but like, I feel like it's one of those things that's like, how do I even word this? If you don't experience it for yourself, you're not gonna learn it. Like, you can listen to everybody's advice about it. You could just, but unless you've gone out, you've met different people, and you've had that experience, there's no way that you're gonna be able to know for yourself, these are the traits I'm looking for, these are the traits that I'm not,
Yes. Yeah. You gotta try a lot of food before you know which one's your favorite.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like, as parents, if you are not supportive, all you're doing is pushing your kid away. Because it's like, you're first of all pushing your kid away. You're also like not helping them grow. And also, like, you yourself are not accepting the fact that they are capable of moving forward with their lives in this new space. Totally unrelated to strength, but I just wanted to get it off my chest. Kim, do you have any stories about people that may be strong, or like how you've grown yourself?
I mean, I definitely don't think I have the same types of experiences as like what Chris was describing, but I feel like growing in strength for me, I think just being around some people that like bring out the good and the bad in you kind of help make you stronger, or you kind of going through your own little like okay, my family, for example, and I mean like my aunts, uncles, cousins, all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's some that I'm close with, some that I'm not. And there's some that I definitely have like a rocky relationship. And a lot of the rockiness comes from really like, my own, like the inner issues of family. I don't personally have any issues with anybody, but like kind of recognizing what's toxic, what's not, what you want to be around, what you don't. I feel like at one point I was like so like used to putting up like, oh yeah, they're right, they're your family, they care about you. But like, and this is not to say I went through anything traumatic, but it's almost like, what I mean by like growing, I think like almost like norms that I used to see was like, oh yeah, that's so normal for your family, and then you realize, no, bitch, this is not normal. Like your family never talking or your family never thing. It kind of the way I've grown and the strength that I've developed is, I sometimes as much as I crave it, I don't need to have all this family love around me. I don't need to have this perfect uncle or like these uncles who are supportive and aunts who are supportive. I don't need that in my life. I need to get somewhere. 'Cause at one point, I was genuinely believing that like if I don't have help from like cousins or family members, that kind of stuff, I'm not gonna get far. I'm not gonna get these connections. I have my mom, I have my dad, I have my sister, I have family, like my close family support me enough. I don't need the outside support of like aunts and uncles who really don't give one shit about my well being. And the only reason I feel like that's made me grow is that at one point I was so envious of like, like especially like in grade 12, this is where I felt it the most, where I didn't know what I want to do in my life. I still don't know what I want to do in my life. I'm only 20. I don't have an idea. But one of my family friends, she's the same age as me. Her family's huge, and all of them are so close. She had her cousins and stuff kind of help her and help guide her, and from that she was able to be more comfortable. But grade 12 for me was just a bunch of emotional breakdowns because I had no idea what I wanted to do, and I was stressing on, do I do something I don't want to do? That's gonna be making family proud, and that's gonna be, following in family's footsteps. Or do I still do something I want to do, something I don't care what everybody else is around me? And it was a lot of that. And I was so envious of my friend who had all the support behind her. And I was so envious, like, people who can, like, guide you, people you're close with. And sometimes I still envy that. Sometimes I still. Did any of that record?
Yes, we're all recording everything.
Okay, no, I just want to know if you could. I feel like at one point my mic shut off. Yeah, sorry. I know at one point I was so, like, invested, like, I need to have that, I need to have. And it made me feel like not broken, but it made me feel like I was missing out on something. And I don't know, I just feel like it feels like it's not really relevant, but I feel like not having that and realizing that. I mean, I'm not saying I'm doing the best in my life right now because but knowing that I'm, figuring out this whole education, like university is not easy to figure out, especially if you're a first generation and you don't even have the outside help of like family, or you don't have outside help of people who know it. The fact that I'm doing pretty all right, even though I'm like still not too sure where I want to go with my degree, the fact that I'm doing all right, I was able to figure it out up until this point. You know what I mean? The fact that I can figure this out up until now by myself is kind of rewarding. I feel like that's made me stronger because I've stopped depending on like asking. I know at one point I used to ask some family members, used to ask around. At one point I wanted to have my dad, like my uncle, if he can like give me advice because his daughters went through it. But I'm like, why the fuck do I need that? Like, what's that gonna do for me? At the end of the day, these people, I'm not saying that they need to reach out and come on give me help, but the fact that they knew, and I have a cousin on my dad's side who's my age. Okay, so it's not like anybody knows that like, oh, they don't know I'm going to, I was in grade 12 going to high school. No one offered me advice. Nobody offered to help me. They just said, oh, you're gonna go and undecided a major? Okay, well that's fine, I guess. Oh, you don't know what you want to do? I guess that's fine. And a part of me really took that on. Like, why don't even, like, I know. So, quick side note. About a year ago, my cousin got married, and I got completely shattered, like, not shattered, wasted at that damn wedding. Came home and thought, wow, for once I really had a family. Like, uncles, aunts, because everyone had such a time. And I think back to that, I'm like, that's kind of sad. And why did I feel the need to even, like, say that? Because at this point, it's like, I'm doing fine without them. To be honest with you, I'm happy that not every single one of them in my life. But I do kind of wish I had a better relationship with my cousins, but I'm not gonna let that weigh me down. I think I've grown in strength where I'm able to like fend for myself in certain ways. I'm able to stop giving a fuck about what they're doing because I know damn well that what these people tell you. And another thing, I'm so sorry I'm taking so long with this, but so many people. I come from a brown family. All right, we're West Indian, and just to say, I swear to God, there's so much competitiveness and there's so much like comparing of children in brown families. I don't understand why. I think it's so stupid. And that shit alone, learning to grow from the fact that I don't need to be what somebody else's kids are. That alone, it's just a bunch of combination, like my own story of like strength. And it's not saying I'm a strong person, 'cause I can't even define strength. There's just too much of it. I think it's so different for everybody. And I just feel like there's just much that contributes towards what someone's strength is. And I think right now, to where I am right now, like what I would call my type of strength or how I've gotten strong within the past years is I've learned myself I don't need these people around me to care about my being in order to do some things for myself. I don't need to go with my cousins, oh, what do I do next? Because I was able to figure that out for myself. Even though I don't fully know yet, I'm still able to figure out something for myself. I don't need to be comparing myself to my cousin because I know damn well that what her mom bragging to me about and what my family's comparing me to them about, yeah, all I know is right now that shit, I don't need that in my life. And I swear, just like I don't know, I just come from a little brown thing, so I was able to grow. That's very, very. That's basically what my strength has come from is just learning that like even though comparing yourself is, not comparing yourself is hard. I don't need to like define my actions based on what people compare me to because at the end of the day, that's what they want to compare me to. That's not me. That person over there, that's not me. I'm myself. That's how I've grown to fend for myself in certain ways, and I've grown to like accept myself in certain ways. Still have a lot more growing to do and a lot more strength to gain, but like that's pretty much how I've grown in strength.
Damn. I'm actually
Yeah, I
honestly
think
really
that's
proud
pretty
of you
good.
for having grown so much.
Thank you.
You know,
I didn't
it's
even.
like nothing's wrong with asking for help, but if the people are just being toxic and just like they're not even really helping, then what's the point? Yeah, just do your own thing, girl.
There's just too many spiteful people around. I just like I don't want to. And again not to like go into another deep rant, but like it's just I think I've also become something like I'm just afraid of rejection. So I think my own fear of rejection has put me to like not even want to ask people for their help. So I would rather get it done myself. And in a way, that's also driven me to be strong. Might
Yeah,
be
that's fair.
good and bad, but
I mean, I feel like it's okay to ask for help. Definitely 100,000%, but like
Hmm.
ask it from people that you know are gonna be helpful, and in that case, it doesn't sound like they're trying to be helpful.
Oh yeah, definitely. I can I can agree with the whole learning to fend for yourself and be strong for yourself because again, my upbringing, I did have to basically just fend for myself because there were so many people just, I would call them vultures, just trying to just pick at pieces at you to try to make you crumble. And where was I going with this? I'm sorry, just I'm honestly so tired. It's been a long day for me,
Yeah,
and
I feel that.
just thoughts just escape my mind completely.
that's what happened to
And
me just now too. I just started talking. I had no idea what I was saying
Yeah.
half of the time.
oh yeah, and I was gonna say the way I see myself is at least my walls. I see them like a fortress because I don't like
Mhm.
asking for help, and even when I myself am going through stuff, I tell you guys, oh, I'm going through this, but I don't really ask for help. I just tell you I'm going through this. If you see me distance myself, it's because of this reason. I don't.
Mhm.
I like working on myself, and I don't like it when people just go out of their way to try to help me. It pisses me off for some reason.
Mhm. That's fair.
Angela, it's your turn to share.
Oh, my turn. I don't really think that I'm a very strong person. I don't know if that's me being humble or if it's just me feeling like there's always something better. But in my head, I'm not exactly where I want to be, but I'm definitely in a good place when it comes to emotional strength. Um, I think the model that I've always had for strength has always been my parents. They came to Canada like over 20 years ago. No, no, that's a lie. 15 years ago. I came here when I was like 5-ish, 4-ish. And obviously, like when you're young and you're impressionable, like they're your number ones, you know?
Hmm.
They never talked to me about like it was like weird. It was like sometimes my mom would talk to me about her feelings, sometimes she wouldn't. And usually she does talk about her feelings. It's not regarding my relationship with her. It's usually someone else that she's complaining about at work or whatever. Some other reason that she's stressed, but anytime that it came to our relationship together, she kind of, I'm the parent, just listen to me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, yeah, and I feel like, part of the reason why I don't feel fully emotionally strong is because I haven't evolved or fixed, I guess, my relationship with my mom, like my parents. Like we've been arguing a lot lately, and there's been a lot of tension, kind of. And I feel like anytime that like the specific topic gets brought up, it just gets brushed to the side if it's me that brings it up, you know? And it's like, I feel like that's their flaw. It's like they don't want to confront it. They just want to ignore it and hope that it goes away, but it's not going to go away. Like, for kind of background, it's basically, it's like it's an issue of them not being able to accept the fact that I'm an adult, you know? I'm going to make my own decisions about some things. And there are some parts of my life that they're not going to be inserted in or going to have any power over whether or not I do something. Like, they can't control my relationships with other people, for example. They can't control who I'm friends with. They have to kind of get that, you know? Like, I'm not a kid. You can't just see someone be like they're a bad influence and then expect me to cut them off just because you think so and it doesn't line up with your values. It's just like issues involving like clashing values and clashing ideals. And of course, all sorts of people experience it, especially people who grow up in totally different places where their parents did totally new culture. And I just feel like I've always felt like it was one of those keep it to yourself things, or else you're gonna be weak, you know? Like, I'm always told you can come to us for anything, but if I'm being emotional about something, they're emotional back. Or if I'm being emotional about something, I need like someone to lean on. I don't want to lean on you if you're just gonna go worst case scenario and tell me to cut off this person or do this or do that. Like, just listen to me sometimes. Don't give me an opinion. And also at the same time, it's like one really big thing that I have been working on is being able to feel my emotions and then let them go. Like, I can't bottle it up. Like, I'm incapable of bottling up my emotions because it just overflows, you know? Because it's like, I just get like kind of like a pop bottle, you know? Like, if you shake it and then it's full of carbonation, once you open it, it bursts, right? Like, for me, I'm that pop bottle whenever I'm feeling a lot of emotions, and it's like, I want to talk about it, but the thing with me is that I'll be crying and then I'll look like I don't have it all together, but my mind is working properly, like totally fine. Like, I'm being mature with my words. And what frustrates me is when I'm treated like a child because I'm crying, even though I'm the one that's making more sense than you are, you know?
Oh yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, I'm trying to be mature and I'm like, okay, I understand where you're going with this, but this is my point, this is my point, this is my point. And just because my eyes are swollen doesn't mean that my brain isn't working, you know? And it's just like, for me, I'll feel truly strong when I'm able to like not show that emotion when I'm feeling it. But that's just something that right now I just have to deal with, and I'm just kind of working on, you know? It's hard for me to contain it, but I always feel better after I let it out, you know? It's difficult to hold an argument / even general discussion because you're not taken seriously, you know? But yeah, that's definitely something I have to work on in terms of strength. I don't even really know if that's a bad thing. The fact that like sometimes, it's not even all the time, sometimes I look incoherent even though I'm perfectly coherent, you know? That's probably one of my biggest shortcomings when it comes to strength. Too long, don't listen. Basically, I grew up trying to bottle in my emotions, and now I'm trying to allow myself to feel it without over expressing it. It's like finding that balance, you know.
Finding that sweet middle spot.
Yeah,
I think
right
that's something I still bottling my emotions up.
See, like, I had to tell my mom this just today. Like, you can't bottle your emotions up and then let it out on the next person that pisses you off, you know?
Definitely.
I told her, if you have an issue with anybody, just talk to me. But don't get mad. Because I'm a person. It's just one of those things where it's like, I'm a person. Even if I'm your child, I also deserve some respect. And I hate feeling like you don't take me seriously just because I want to talk about my feelings in an open, safe environment. You know, like, I want to be able to bring up what's bothering me without you telling me I'm overreacting, you know? But that's just how it is. That's why these days I'm doing confrontations via text. These days I'm doing conversations via text. That's why I moved my flight so late to go back home. Like, it's really putting a strain on our relationship, just how my parents handle anything with me, you know? It's hard.
And I think that is a problem with a lot of immigrant parents because, again, it goes back to the whole society nurturing the idea that you have to bottle up your emotions or else you're seen as a weak person.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's not at all the case. I feel like anybody that has to bottle up, or not necessarily has to, sometimes it's just what you're used to, you know? You have to unlearn it. If you're bottling it up, you're avoiding the issue. If you're avoiding the issue, you're just going to keep running into that issue. You're never going to fix the core of the problem.
And it's also going to create a snowball effect that just, when you crash, you're going to crash a lot harder than if you would have solved the problem from the get-go.
Exactly. So it's just like, I am trying to exert my own maturity and kind of improve my conversation, like my confrontational skills with them, and my ability to like remain calm in the situation. But it's hard. Like, it's genuinely hard because there's nobody on this planet that can make me as angry as my mom. Nobody on this planet that can make me as sad as my mom.
Mood.
There's nobody on this planet that can make me hate myself more than my mom, you know? But on the opposite side, there's also nobody that loves me more and nobody that like makes me feel like happy like my mom does. She's one of my best friends, and that's why I don't want to be in screaming matches anymore. I want to fix the way that I talk to her so that she can realize that she's able to fix the way she talks to me too. But I don't know if it'll work because, you know, immigrant parents. But I don't want to live angry at her. You know, I don't want like a tiny thing to happen and then it becomes back to a big thing. You know, I hate it. But of course, like, you can't fix other people. You can only fix your reactions to them, which is another big lesson for strength emotionally.
It honestly is.
I can't control her. I can't control what she wants. And I can't control how she treats me, but I can definitely 100% control how I respond to it. And that's the hardest. Let me tell you, the most difficult fucking thing I have ever done in my life and am currently doing. Oh my god. All I want to do is like, talk back. But like, just keep it together. Keep it together. Sorry. I'm kind of like venting because it's just a lot. Yeah.
Things with parents sometimes that even if you like respond, like if they being disrespected, it's just like not even like equal treatment, if that makes sense. Or it's like you're being,
that makes sense to them.
Yeah, it makes sense to them, but if you're like, okay, but you can't do that, or you know, I asked, okay, we're going a little bit emotional here, but we, you know, it's like you ask, okay, can you please not do this or something, you know, especially now you're a grown adult, and they decide, I don't want to do it because I'm the adult, I'm the parent here, so I do what you say, and then you ask them, and you get like upset or even like a little bit emotional, or like you react with maybe like a bit of anger, or even if you don't say anything over the top or out of the way or whatever, but it's like they still take offense to it. They're allowed to get mad. You're not. But like, that's the question. That's the biggest question. If role reversed. If roles were reversed and I was the same thing, like, so you ask me not to do something, but I still go and do it, and I do it, and I make a mockery out of it. You know what I mean? You'd get pissed, but am I supposed to go and be like, "Oh my God, you hurt my feelings"? And I get that. I totally get that because like it's hard. Emotions are hard, especially from parents, especially immigrant parents.
Yeah, honestly, it's about being the bigger person. Like,
Not always
I can't
easy.
believe I'm saying this, but I feel like the only way to get through to some people is to be the bigger person. It's so cliche.
Sometimes it's hard to do that with hard to do that. And I swear, do you ever have those
It's
where you
okay.
try to be
You
the
don't have
bigger
to do it
person?
all the time.
But you ever have those moments where you try to be the bigger person and it backfires on you?
Well, it's not always gonna work. My thing is that, like, if you stick to it regularly, like, something's gotta give,
I can only be the bigger person in certain situations, so some other my ignorance takes over. I'm just like, okay, let's do this.
That's really hard.
Bring out the
I would
boxing
have to say
gloves.
that it's hard to stay aware, but it's important to be aware, like self-aware. Realize you are also fueling the fire. Like, I always kind of talk to myself, and I'm like, don't, like I know you want to, but don't, because you can't. If you do, you're just giving like more fuel to the fire anytime. Like, being the bigger person is probably the most difficult strength thing I have ever had to do. Anyways, at some point in time there, we kind of flew off topic.
We stay relevant in strength because we do talk about like trying to be the bigger person, and that does show strength.
Yeah.
And it is good to practice that, because although it might feel good in the moment to just slash out and again burn everything, in the long run it's not good for any one of you.
And I think we've actually run out of time. Not like we really care. I know you love to listen to our wonderful voices, but
And we tell you shit and are wonderful, no matter how frustrated we are.
yeah.
With life, at least.
Yeah, but thanks for listening, guys. I know that sometimes like the topics may seem like they're kind of chopped up and they go all over the place, but we're really genuinely just speaking from the heart, So we're hoping you enjoyed this episode of Podcast by Default. Thanks for listening to us talk about strength.
Oh,
I'm Angela.
before we leave, I do want to highly mention another book of Mark Manson. I recommend this book to Angela, but she's not able to buy it because of quarantine. It's I forgot the name, but I have it right here. I've been reading it. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. So highly recommend it. Really helps you think about a lot of stuff, and it'll help you become a better person.
Alright. And if that's everything, I'm Angela.
I'm Kim.
And I'm Chris.
And this has been Podcast by Default.
Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.